For those of you just tuning in, welcome to the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. We're inside TD Arena alongside Debbie Antonelli. I'm Rich Hollenberg. It is the third place game in what has been a loaded and talented field here of 8 teams that came down to Charleston. Right now, Clemson has a 13-7 lead over West Virginia, Deb.
Well, Nick Honor got him off to a great start. The playmaking ability and decision-making is outstanding, but also his defense and his ability to score outside the three-point line. He has been hot in this tournament. He's only missed a couple of shots in 3 games. The pick at midcourt and the finish right there. He has done a fantastic job with a 4.5 assist-turnover ratio on the season.
And Bob Huggins sitting on 903 wins. One more win, and it's career win number 904, which puts him ahead of the Hall of Famer Roy Williams, trailing only Mike Krzyzewski, Jim Boeheim, and Jim Calhoun on that all-time wins list. It's a matter of when, not if, what the Hall of Fame calls for Bob Huggins.
And I believe that call will be coming this year. He is on the Naismith Hall of Fame ballot. All the gentlemen on that graphic ahead of him are already in. It's just a matter of a phone call now, I believe.
Quarterfinal win against Elon put them in the semifinals. Taz Sherman with a career-high 27 in that game. But then they led Marquette by a dozen and let that lead slip away despite Taz Sherman's 21 points. Marquette upended West Virginia, and that puts West Virginia in this game for third place.
And that puts Marquette in the finals at 5-0 on the season with their new coach, Shaka Smart, who's done a fantastic job with 10 freshmen and a bunch of new players that he's put into the mix. That's a good Marquette team we'll see later on against a really good St. Bonaventure team. We got a championship game here that's like a Sweet 16 environment.
That's coming up at 7:30 tonight over on ESPN. Marquette, one of just 2 power conference teams to be 5-0 at this juncture in the season. The other, the Duke Blue Devils. Alamir Dawes goes to the line already. 8 points for Dawes, and we are just 4 minutes into this contest.
See, this is his first trip to the free throw line in this tournament. He has not been to the line in the previous 2 games, and it speaks to his ability to shoot threes, but it also is a part of the scout that you got to know against Clemson is you got to make him make a play off the bounce.
He's in double digits with 10. All 5 Clemson scorers average 10 or more points a game at this juncture in the season.
This might be the most balanced team offensively that Brad Brownell has had in a long time. There's a lot of ways they can score offensively while not giving up anything in their principles defensively.
Preseason number 11 in the deep and talented ACC. There's a jumper good by Jalen Bridges, his 2nd bucket of the game. Hunter Tyson with the hard pick at midcourt, clearing some space for those Clemson guards. Dawes, another blow-by and another bucket.
Yeah, but you got to take your chances and you got to make them put it down on the floor. It's a part of the scout, but I think Bob Huggins' team has got to stop giving up the straight line drive to the rim. Where's the help rotating?
Alamir Dawes is on a personal 12-0 run right now for his Clemson team. Scored the last 12 points for the Tigers. And Taz Sherman skipped to the loo to half court. He's going to have a chance at a 3-point play.
He's bouncy. He is determined. He hunts shots. He pulls it back. And you don't want to foul the 3-point shooter. David Collins is going to give Sherman another chance at the line. Taz Sherman has been outstanding in this 3-day event.
Despite the fact that West Virginia didn't make it to the championship game, you could easily make the case that Taz Sherman should be on this all-tournament team.
Oh, no question. I think that goes without saying. Honestly, I think he's been terrific. He's hunting shots. He wants the ball in the big moment. Here comes the full court pressure.
He's now 21 for 23 on the season from the free throw line. Brings his West Virginia Mountaineers back to within 5. Good hands and a steal by Malik Curry, but he stepped out of bounds. Teddy Valentine says, I'll take that basketball. Clemson ball.
Really good anticipation by Curry.
And isn't it funny, the West Virginia faithful here inside TD Arena get more fired up over a defensive play than they do an offensive one.
Question about the score. That's why we have a hesitation.
Yep.
And
it looks like that last jump shot made by Jalen Bridges is going to be ruled a 3. It was inside the gym by the official scorer, and now the officials are going over to confer. So essentially a free timeout for Brad Brownell and Bob Huggins.
That's a 2. And that was the play prior.
So now they are taking a point away. So it was not a 3-pointer, it was a 2-pointer. So Jalen Bridges has 4 points. And Deb, you pointed this out the other night. I think some people inside this building are getting confused between those 2 3-point lines.
Yeah. There's just one 3-point line now in men's and women's college basketball, and it's the one further away.
Nice take by Hunter Tyson, his first bucket of the game.
6'8", plays the 4 spot, and he's more than just a stretch 4. I call them hybrids when they can make decisions and do other things. He's very good at the top of the floor making a decision with a ball.
How about this, Deb? Both teams that hang their hat on defense are a combined 11 for their last 11 from the field. McNeil make that 11 for 12. The rebound to Honor. Here's Tyson. And now Gabe Osaboyan on the floor. He is the Mountaineer man of this team. Does all the dirty work for Bob Huggins. Honor off the mark. Check that. That was Chase Hunter, number 3, with the shot. Curry, the foul's on the floor. It'll be West Virginia ball out of bounds with 13:53 to go.
You let Malik Curry get vision to the rim in the open floor, going left. He looks like a running back when you get your shoulders over your thigh pads, your shoulder pads over your thigh pads, and you go through that offensive line. That's what he looks like when he's going through traffic.
Now Kobe Johnson, number 2 in white, checking in, a true freshman for Bob Huggins.
Both these teams can dip into their bench a little bit to go 8 or 9. Sometimes Bob Huggins may go a little bit deeper than that.
And once again, we are checking something at the scorer's table. Ron Groover over there. There's Brad Brownell in his 12th season overall, 20th as a head coach in D1, turned 53 years young last week. Happy birthday, Brad. And the Clemson radio staff brought us an interesting tidbit of information after Brad won his game on his birthday.
Dabo won his yesterday on his birthday over Wake Forest, so big week for Clemson royalty.
Good ball movement by the Mountaineers. Frees up Kobe Johnson, but he's short on the 3 ball. Here comes Chase Hunter, a 6'3" sophomore out of Atlanta.
P.J. Hall has yet to get involved.
Here he is, right on cue. And he's off with his first shot. Curry clears.
At 6'10", he's got a smooth stroke, though. He can pop. He was calling for the pop off that pass.
Gabe Osaboyan trying to be aggressive, taking the ball to the hole and drawing a foul on P.J. Hall.
Gabe Osaboyan stars in his role. He doesn't need the basketball in his hands to have a factor on the outcome of a game. He makes winning plays without the ball. He rebounds, he sets screens, he runs the floor hard.
And he takes charges.
And he moves his feet on their ball screen defense. Like, look at that screen right there. That's a hard screen.
Here's Osaboyan trying to get offensive, and he does. Number 3 in white, Gabe Osaboyan with the bucket and the bump.
When you move the ball like that, you get the defense rotating. Watch the late closeout on Osaboyan by P.J. Hall. And he didn't want to commit a foul. And Osaboyan, he's good for 2 dribbles in the quarter court to get to the bucket. Absorbs the contact with that big frame and finishes to get to the line.
Well, you talk about Mountaineer men through the years. Javon Carter, Nate Adrian, Kevin Jones, Deshaun Butler, those are all-timers at West Virginia. But you add Gabe Osaboyan to that list for all the intangibles that he does.
Well, Javon Carter was a former Defensive Player of the Year. Nate Adrian at the point of that press Virginia, there was nobody better. And then Deshaun Butler and Kevin Jones, 2 All-Americans. Tough guys, tough competitors, winners for Bob Huggins.
Yeah, Deshaun Butler leading that Mountaineers team to the Final Four in 2010. 3rd all-time in points, a record 107 wins for Deshaun Butler in Morgantown. And Kevin Jones, all he did was average a double-double his senior year. You got to be able to rebound if you're going to be a Mountaineer man. Gabe Osaboyan does that. Inside, Osaboyan tried to thread the needle to DC, Damon Kerrigan, but it goes off his hands out of bounds. That's the 5th West Virginia turnover. Clemson's led throughout. They're up 4, 19-15, 12-23 to go in the first half of this consolation game between a pair of Power 5 teams. Here's Jalen Bridges to steal and the finish.
That is all Gabe Osaboyan right there. Moving his feet, ball pressure, helping in a trap, and then allowing the anticipation in the bucket. Steal, score is what I call it. That's the mentality West Virginia plays with.
The scoop no good by Honor, the rebound to Bridges. West Virginia with a triple takes their first lead of the night. They could tie it with a 2.
See, there he's doing maybe too much. Getting excited.
Bridges for 3. Off the mark, the loose ball to Curry. Taz, top of the key, got it. West Virginia on top.
What a difference in energy and body language with Osaboyan on the floor, who's really fueled this 11-2 run.
Listen to this crowd. Morgantown has migrated to Charleston. 5 on the shot clock for Clemson. Honor, tough take. But Naz Bohannon puts it back out, a fresh 20 for the Tigers. He throws it away and it's stolen by Taz Sherman. What's gotten into Gabe Osaboyan?
Yeah, that's the first 3 he's taken all year. You know what? He's tired. That's why he shot it. He didn't want to go rebound it.
He makes his money with deflections and charges taken. They don't expect a lot offensively from Gabe Osaboyan. Here's Bohannon. Harassed by Osaboyan, and he comes up empty. And Gabe Osaboyan is gassed at the other end.
He's given everything he's got for about 10 trips up and down, and then he needs probably a break. But Bob Huggins isn't calling a timeout to give some guy a break. That's not the West Virginia way.
The West Virginia defense has held Clemson to no points and 4 turnovers in the last 5+ minutes. Sherman, not this time. Dawes the rebound.
I think they need to get a touch to P.J. Hall on the block. But we've gone up and down a couple of times here. Both teams look a little fatigued.
Dawes, strong to the hole, got the foul, and no one's happier that the play stopped than number 3 in white, Gabe Osaboyan. Get that man some water on the bench.
Look at the trapping defense. It allows the anticipation. And Bridges with the stuff. What a run by West Virginia. They're up 1.
We are just beginning Feast Week on ESPN. It continues tonight with the championship game on ESPN. Right here in Charleston, St. Bonaventure taking on Marquette in the finals of the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. That tips off at 7:30. Then after that, the Roman main event title game from Vegas with Arizona facing number 4 Michigan. Give me a headline in tonight's game that we're going to be calling between Marquette and St. Bonaventure.
I'm telling you why I'm watching the game, because Arizona has Ben Mathurin. He is a rising star out there. He's averaging 15 points and 6 boards, and the reason why I know him is because his sister played at NC State. That is an athletic family, and Ben can hoop.
Give some love to the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic, Dad. What do you think about tonight's championship game?
Tonight has been fantastic. It's going to be fantastic tonight. I love the St. Bonnie experience. 5 guys that are stuck together, they're connected, and then the mystery of what Marquette brings with those 10 freshmen. I mean, it is youth versus experience. 2 really well-prepared, disciplined teams, very well coached. Mark Schmidt for St. Bonnie and Shaka Smart for Marquette.
Well said, my friend. Alamir Dawes 1 for 2 from the line, ties the game up at 20. Here's McNeil. Now Kedrian Johnson back on the floor running the show for Bob Huggins. 10 on the shot clock for the Mountaineers. McNeil could shoot it from out there. Instead, he goes inside the three-point line, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Clemson basketball, a chance to regain the lead.
See, David Collins does an excellent job. He closes the space on McNeil, makes him go left. That one dribble pull-up going right is money. You got to make him put it on a bounce going left and make him make a play that way.
What does Clemson like to do? What's their bread and butter offensively?
Well, they like good ball movement. I like to see a backdoor play here. I'm thinking that West Virginia was going to be way up the line.
Hunter Tyson open look, can't cash it in.
They move the ball, they share it, they play in space. They're giving up offensive rebounding to make sure that West Virginia has to execute against their quarter-court defense. It's a decision that coaches make. How many do you send to the glass? How many do you get back? It's part of the scout.
7 to shoot. Taz, short. Kept alive by Johnson, and a fresh 20 seconds for the Mountaineers. It's gang rebounding for Bob Huggins in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's the tough rebounds, the ones that aren't right above your head that you have to go get.
And an offensive foul called on Taz Sherman. Clemson has no field goals in almost 7 minutes, Dad. What have you seen from the West Virginia defense that has affected that?
Well, I think Clemson is shot selection is a part of it, but they've been able to get to the free throw line. So that's part of the reason why this score is tied. It's not that they haven't made a field goal, it's that their effort off the bounce. Now with this lineup on the floor, I'd call this a Hunter Tyson lineup. This is a guy that I think could be hunting shots in this lineup.
And Paulie Polacap, who stepped in, gets an offensive foul called, taking the charge. You know Hugs and company loves that. You're immersed in Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. The Charleston Classic, brought to you by Shriners Children's here in gorgeous Charleston, South Carolina, the Holy City. And we have been treated to a week's worth of terrific basketball. This third place game, no different. It's been a defensive battle. We're tied at 20, 7:58 to go in the first half. Alongside Debbie Antonelli, I'm Rich Hollenberg. We're looking at the West Virginia huddle. And at the top of this telecast, Deb, you said you think the key to their offensive success is going to be number 22 in white, Sean McNeil.
Well, I think Sean McNeil was going to have to make some shots tonight for them to win. We know that Taz Sherman can score. We know Jalen Bridges can shoot the 3. And we know their defense is going to turn teams over. I mean, West Virginia is turning teams over on 31% of their possessions. That's a very high number. And I'd like to see if Sean McNeil can come off a pin down or get some space here and see if Coach Huggins is thinking that he needs to get him going also. He's 0 for 3 so far in the game, and Clemson has done a very good job of getting in crowding his space.
And Debbie, despite that timeout, Brad Brownell kept the same personnel on the floor. It's a real small size roster that he has out there right now. Sherman can't get it to go. He's missed his last couple. Offensive rebound, Polycap, and he forced up the tough shot.
And with this lineup, I think what sometimes coaches are thinking, Rich, is that, you know, it's a long game. The score's tied. We're inside the 8-minute mark. We've played 3 games in 4 days. Maybe some guys just need to be saved for the second half.
Tyson got fouled on the drive to the basket. That's going to go on Polycap. Number 1 in white's been super active since he checked into game. Drew that offensive foul before the timeout. Got an offensive rebound, although he missed the putback, and now he commits the foul.
Well, you can see part of Bob Huggins' defensive plan is to not allow Clemson to catch and shoot on the perimeter. So they have been up in their grill, making them put it on the floor. Now they just got to do a better job of not fouling once they do go to the paint.
Hunter Tyson coming in 6 for 7 from the free throw line this early part of the season, make it 7 for 8. He has 3, and Clemson jumps back on top by 1. 6'8" senior from Monroe, North Carolina, coming in averaging a shade under 13 points a game. And too strong on the second free throw. Free throw is not a strength for either of these two clubs. Bridges guarded by Tyson.
You don't want the ball to get stuck, and when the ball gets stuck, this is what happens. Look at Dawes.
Easy 2.
What a first half for the junior.
Leads all scorers with 15. Came in averaging 10.8 a game. His career high is 21. Johnson, tough 2 off the window from Kedrian Johnson, his first bucket of the night.
Ian Shefflin's got to anticipate that and get outside the restricted arc and help.
David Collins looked for the foul, and instead he's called for the offensive.
She totally out of control and off balance on his way to the rim. There are 4 white jerseys in the paint. Look at Dawes anticipate right here. Sherman trying to post him up in the high post area. Tips and deflections going Clemson's way early on.
I was just thinking that. You're used to a West Virginia team doing that to their opponents. Here's Cottrell, the big man.
Bohannon doing a great job on McNeil.
Kedrian Johnson has back-to-back buckets.
It's a big part of the West Virginia offense in the early part of the season is being able to take your perimeter players and invert them to the box. You really don't have a 6'10" guy that can go over his left shoulder and get you a bucket inside. So there's other ways you can do it to get points in the restricted area.
A block shot, but a foul called on Jalen Bridges. Surprisingly enough, it's number 11 in white, Jalen Bridges, who leads this Mountaineers team in block shots, but they whistle him for the foul there.
Sean McNeil right here, but look at the job Bohannon's doing. He's getting through screens. He's being physical with them at the 1 pass away. He's communicating the switch right there to make sure that Shefflin gets through. He didn't need to switch. Multiple defenders have been on Sean McNeil already in this game. Clemson has mixed up their defensive look on him. They've gone small and quick. They've gone a little bit stronger and longer.
1 for 2 again for Hunter Tyson. He has 4, and West Virginia's lead is cut to 2. Here's Sherman to Cottrell from the elbow. I think going forward, that could be the key for West Virginia's offensive success, is inverting their offense, having their guards post up more than their bigs.
Well, there's not going to be very many easy buckets, not transition opportunities. You're going to have to win the battle inside right here at the restricted area. Nice post up inside by Hunter Tyson. I mean, Hunter Tyson is a guy that he scored a total of 49 points in 31 games his freshman year. He didn't get a lot of time. but every year he's worked to get a little bit better, a little bit stronger. He's playing a significant role this year in his senior campaign.
Dawes called for the reach-in, and with 4:53, P.J. Hall, the leading scorer and rebounder for Clemson, coming back into the game. Well, here's our Week 11 Monday Night Football matchup. It's a good one. The Giants coming to Tampa to face Tom Brady and the Bucs at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Plus, ESPN Deportes, and the app. ESPN2, of course, will have Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli Manning. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Which do you watch?
I like Peyton and Eli a little bit. I like to sprinkle a little bit of that in there.
Yeah. They have, I would call it a cult following now, but it's growing. It's certainly growing. I think it's fun to switch back and forth, actually. Steve Levy and company do an outstanding job on ESPN. And Peyton and Eli have found a nice home on Monday nights on ESPN too. Here in Charleston, we're knotted up at 26. Two power conference teams trying to get out of Charleston with a winning record after winning their respective first games and losing their semifinal matchups. Here's Naz Bohannon, showing that he can handle the rock a little bit. Transfer from Youngstown. Call, stolen away by Gabe.
When the ball goes wing, baseline, wing, back to the top, you have to reverse it.
Transition 3, the Mountaineers wanted that one bad.
That was a good look for McNeil.
It was.
But see, when you don't reverse the ball in that situation, West Virginia can camp out on the strong side.
There's a missed defensive assignment at the other end, and Nick Honor now has 7. Scored the game's first 5 points and was quiet until that bucket. Now under 4 minutes to go. Clemson back on top by 2. And we have our final media timeout of the first half, 3:54 to go. The Tigers leading the Mountaineers by a deuce. Oh, Zubin, you are surrounded by wisdom with John Crispin and the coach Seth Greenberg. We'll see them in 3:54 of game time as Brad Brownell tries to lead his Clemson Tigers to a win over West Virginia. Here's the top 10, Deb, heading into tonight. What are the biggest surprises for you in that 10?
Well, Villanova and Purdue, how about the game today? All right, that was like a Final Four caliber game. I think Texas is a little bit of a surprise to me just because blending all that talent at a high level, and I think these polls are all about who has the least amount of question marks at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. I would say Illinois is probably going to drop out of that top 10.
Well, they didn't have Kofi Coburn. They'll get him, he's back. And I agree with Coach Greenberg in the studio. It's lack of a paint presence. You've got to find other ways to score inside that restricted area.
Look at Isaiah Cottrell sticking to P.J. Hall like glue. And it's Osaboyan with the hard rebound. Missing a guy like Derek Culver, who was an all Big 12 performer last year. Big man for Bob Huggins, left a year early, and they're trying to fill his void by committee in West Virginia.
See, they clear out for Curry.
That's Kobe Johnson with the open 3.
And see, Malik Curry makes a good decision that time. He gets into the paint, he doesn't have a good look, he's left-handed, and he kicks it back out to the overload side.
6th lead change in the first half. West Virginia back on top.
Malik Curry comes into this game. He does not have a positive assist-turnover ratio, so he needs to continue to work to make good decisions.
P.J. Hall with his first 2.
Basically,
14 for 26 in his first 2 games in this tournament.
A pretty good look of 4 out, 1 in, and getting Hall a touch on the block. At the front of the rim, he's going to be tough to defend going over that left shoulder.
You really like his game.
I love his game. I love what he can do inside out and the versatility of his game.
10 on the shot clock for West Virginia. Curry. Look what I found, Isaiah Cottrell, but he can't convert. Here's Honor. No foul call. Good defense by Gabe Osaboyan. Cottrell from the elbow. And Osaboyan with the rebound. He is exhausting all resources on the floor. The Mountaineer man.
He plays with every ounce he has. It's refreshing that you go so hard that you're exhausted. Something is going to happen when Bob Huggins puts him on the floor. There is going to have an impact. He's aggressive, he changes their tempo, he changes everyone's body language on the court.
The last 2 years, and including this year, the last 3 seasons, he leads the team in deflections and charges taken. And if you do that, you're going to get playing time for Bob Huggins.
And it's early in November, so his durability, his ability to go a little bit longer, stretches. But I'm telling you what, if everyone played as hard as Osabuoyen plays, till exhaustion, then he gets a break and then he comes back. He averages 3.5 fouls a game. It's because he's so aggressive.
Here's Hall. Soft touch off the window. P.J. Hall, back-to-back buckets.
See, I love that action. They get that misdirection ghost screen through the middle of the floor, and P.J. Hall does a great job of holding his position inside.
Tell me what a ghost screen is.
It's when you act like you're going to set a screen, but you really go pass through. It's pass through, it's a ghost screen. There's a couple of things, different vernacular by coaches.
Curry for 3. Malik Curry's first bucket of the game, and it puts West Virginia back on top. Seesaw battle in the first half between Clemson and West Virginia. That one thrown away. Here's Curry. Track meet, and you're usually going to win that if Malik Curry's at the point.
He is a hard downhill driver, and Brad Brownell wants a timeout.
Mountaineer faithful loving it.
Up the floor, to the left, off the glass.
Well, Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli is back right here on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus at 8 Eastern. Breaking down Eli's former team, the Giants, who take on the Bucks with Tom Brady. Special attention, of course, paid to the quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and TB12. Monday Night Football coverage also available on ESPN and the ESPN app. My favorite thing I think about the Peyton and Eli show on ESPN2 is their roster of guests.
That's
they pull a who's who, and I'm just putting in for my man Carl Banks to be a guest on Monday Night Football. He's a dear friend of mine. I grew up a Giants fan watching him win 2 Super Bowls with Bill Parcells and the Giants, and he would be terrific with Peyton and Eli.
I like it.
Here's Tyson. And Osabuoyen gets called for the foul, and that's exactly what plagues Gabe Osabuoyen. He's so active with his hands. Sometimes it ends up being a ticky-tack foul.
I mean, he moves his feet so well, he's just got to stop putting his hands on someone. He put 2 hands on Hunter Tyson and right in front of the official.
What do you think Clemson's going to look for on this out of bounds?
I think they're going to look for P.J. Hall right here.
He sets the screen at the elbow. Instead, it's Hunter Tyson. Can't knock down the triple. 7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Counting down to 30 seconds to go in this first half, and it's been an entertaining one. Bob Huggins with a use it or lose it timeout. 30.4 to go. Well, let's take a look at the activity of Mr. Gabe Osabuoyen, Mountaineer man.
3 rebounds, 2 assists, only 1 personal foul. As we head into the second half, that means this man's going to be more aggressive. He's active, he gives every ounce he has. He is a fighter on every possession on the defensive end. He can get the hard rebounds. He can play through contact. Everyone's body language on West Virginia lifts when he steps on the floor because you know you have to match your teammates' energy. Look at that stat line already.
Yeah, that was from the opener in West Virginia Coliseum against Oakland. 5 charges drawn in 1 game. Going into this year, he led the team in deflections with 171, and the last 2 years he's led the team in charges as well. He does not mind doing the dirty work and getting his nose bloodied a little bit.
He's the kind of guy that when you're going against him, you got to ball fake. You got to run the floor hard and make him run. You've got to run him off screening action if you can, because he might just run through somebody. You got to figure out ways that you can wear him down and put him at a deficit, because if he's in the open floor or in the middle third, he is really hard to get by on the offensive end.
Starters on the floor for the final 30 seconds for Bob Huggins, except for Malik Curry, who comes off the bench. Kedrian Johnson, the starting point guard. So it's Curry, Bridges, Cottrell, and then the two shooters, Taz Sherman and Sean McNeil. 4 starters on for Brad Brownell as well. The only reserve, number 33 in orange, Naz Bohannon. 10 to shoot. Curry, hesitation. Good closeout by Hunter Tyson. Loose ball, and Clemson comes away with it.
They've got
8
time.
seconds to go.
I think Curry went too fast for that last set.
Hall.
Oh, look at
Whoa,
the hero.
what a footwork by P.J. Hall. That's 6'10" with a little pirouette.
That's what I'm talking about. That is a big-time move by the 6'10" sophomore. Aware of the clock. Clemson spreads the floor. 1-2. That is not travel. With a soft touch.
West Virginia up 1 at the break, 35-34 over Clemson. Let's go to the studio. Zubin, Seth, and John. ESPN's Feast Week continues on ESPN, presented by Lowe's. This is the second half of the consolation game of the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. West Virginia, 1-point lead over Clemson, 35-34 as we get set for the second half from inside TD Arena on the campus of College of Charleston. Alongside Debbie Antonelli, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Back and forth affair. I think we had 7 lead changes in the first half. High-level basketball, but West Virginia with the 1-point lead, despite the fact that Clemson's offense came out hot.
Yeah, Clemson's shooting the ball fine. They've turned it over 10 times. That's part of their problem. You turn it over in the live ball situation, West Virginia is going to capitalize. Right here, Alamir Dawes has been fantastic in the first half. 15 points to lead all scorers. He's been able to score in their quarter court offensively. He's been able to make plays on the defensive end. When they've closed the space on him, he's put it on the floor, and he's been able to get to the free throw line. And on the other side, this is a right side of the box score kind of player, Gabe Osaboyan. He is going to stuff the stat sheet without doing a lot of damage on the left side, which is where the points come from. Rebounds, assists, steals, tips, deflections, drawing charges, rotating, moving his feet, and playing with great body language, and that's part of the reason why he's in the starting lineup in the second half.
Bit of a measuring stick game between two Power 5 teams that don't get to face off very often. West Virginia coming in at 3-1 on the season. Clemson 4-1, and a big reason they've won those 4 games, P.J. Hall's been their best player.
So P.J. Hall only had 5 shot attempts in the first half. He didn't get to the free throw line. He needs to have 8 or 9 or 10 field goal attempts here in the second half.
They post up Taz Sherman, and he could do that all day long. Double digits for Taz with 10.
The one thing I'm surprised we haven't seen yet is Clemson get a backdoor look off this pressure up the line defense. Look at the ball pressure now by West Virginia. That is, everybody locks down, 1 pass away.
10 on the shot clock for the Tigers. There's Collins off the window, and they count the bucket.
The defense gets sucked to the strong side, 1 pass away. Everybody thought a 5-second count. You reverse the ball, and this is 1-on-1. David Collins gets his hips and shoulders past Sean McNeil.
Terrific shooting by the Clemson offense, 57%, 3 for 7 from 3. But those turnovers haunted them a little bit. It's what kept the game close, and they've dominated in the paint, which again has been the fly in the ointment for Bob Huggins in the early part of this season. Can't find people to score at close range.
Well, I think it's a function somewhat of their ball movement or lack thereof. You know, if you don't reverse the ball and shift the floor and make the defense rotate, you're not going to get a chance to open up the lane. Now Sherman's going to go back-to-back inside, trying to score inside.
Jalen Bridges originally got the miss, and then David Collins wrestles it away. Physical play in the opening 90 seconds of this second half. They're going to call the foul on Jalen Bridges. And now Brad Brownell quickly trying to get P.J. Hall back on the floor. Ben Middlebrook spelled him for just a moment. And it looks like P.J.'s not feeling 100% right now.
Right.
We'll have to keep you posted on that.
Numbers.
Here's Hunter Tyson. Gave up the pass, but look who took the charge.
You've got a 2-on-1. Are you kidding me? You have got to pass the ball ahead. You got to give it up. Osaboy in legal guarding position, 2 feet on the floor, facing the opponent. And you're allowed to absorb the contact.
That's also listening to your scouting report. Every team knows that's what Gabe Osaboy does.
Well, Hunter Tyson's got to pass the ball ahead.
And Bridges, back-to-back possessions where Jalen Bridges gets whistled for a foul, this time lowering the shoulder on his way to the hole. And immediately Jalen Bridges is going to have to go sit next to Bob Huggins as Isaiah Cottrell checks in.
This is a tremendous defensive effort by Tyson. He rotates over to help on the cut, then he recovers back to draw the charge.
This is one of those games, what did you call this the other night, a double ice pack?
It's a double ice bath
Yeah.
game. I mean, when you get done with this game, you don't need one ice bath, you need 2.
Here's Nick Honor with the ball, an outstanding tournament shooting the basketball from number 4 in orange. Hall throws it right into the hands of McNeil. McNeil dumps it off for Cottrell. Nice job moving the ball from Sean McNeil to the redshirt freshman Isaiah Cottrell.
Well, Isaiah Cottrell runs right down the middle of the floor to the front of the rim. It's a good hesitation by McNeil to make that delivery. Just good job of being a defensive back right there, right? Reading the eyes of the passer to be able to make that play.
Hall with the ball.
See, now you got Osaboyan on Hunter Tyson. I'd run him off a couple of screens and make Osaboyan chase him, because I think that's how you can get him open.
Good hands again by McNeil, knocking it loose. Now Collins caught in the corner, turned it over again. Kedrian Johnson on the floor. Taz for 3. Too strong.
Now, it's a little thing, Rich, but let me tell you this. You make Taz Sherman drop his hands on the perimeter as a 3-point threat, that can throw off your rhythm. And he's not a guy that makes a lot of threes anyway. He averages 21 points. He's only made 5 threes coming into the game. But that pass has got to be to the shooting pocket so he can get into the rhythm of his shot. But you make a shooter drop their hands. Any shooter will tell you that's not the way you want to pass.
Bob Huggins trying to give Ron Gruber a lesson on officiating basketball, as he's been wont to do over the course of his 40-year head coaching career.
40 years of winning. Averaging 24 wins a season. That is amazing. Again, he's on the Naismith Hall of Fame ballot. He'll be there. There's that backdoor look I was talking about earlier.
Tyson, another nice leave, and this time Hunter Tyson pays it off.
Everyone gets a touch. The ball switches sides of the floor. That's the way you execute against an overplaying defense.
That was one of the best offensive sets we've seen tonight from Clemson. Sherman surrounded by Clemson jerseys. Now McNeil, again, a nice dump off. Cottrell can't knock it down. Scoring from close range, again, haunting the Mountaineers. And Bob Huggins just crosses his arms in frustration. Here's Dawes for 3. 18 for Alamir Dawes, his first triple of the second half.
You can sense Clemson's in a better offensive rhythm here in the second half.
Sherman hangs, can't hit.
Good D. That's the principle of verticality right there. That's one for J.D. Collins in the officiating video, the educational video.
The lead is 4 for the Clemson Tigers. Here's Bohannon. Nice feed, and Collins finishes it off. Clemson is 5 for 5 to start the second half.
Yeah, it's the ball movement, and it's the back door, right? They're finding ways to get behind that West Virginia defense.
And a couple of reserves off the bench, sparking Brad Brownell's Tigers. Naz Bohannon and David Collins. 5 minutes gone by. McNeil for 3. Off the mark. 1 and done for West Virginia.
I think McNeil needs to throw it inside and then play off that, relocate to the perimeter.
Corner 3. Honor! Timeout, West Virginia. Clemson in the midst of a 10-0 run. And the Clemson Tiger offense is clicking on all cylinders.
Bohannon, the backdoor delivery. Collins at the rim. The kick, the triple. Clemson's rolling.
Big time games coming up. If you want your attention on Bob Huggins, sometimes you need to go to extreme measures.
That would get my attention. Not only did he slam the clipboard down, but he got out of his seat and he made what I would call fierce, violent eye contact.
Before
Right?
the game, we were talking with Bob Huggins, and he said maybe he's been a little too soft on these guys, knowing that it's a long season. They're going to play deep into March. They hope to make the NCAA tournament. He's got a lot of new faces on this roster. He knows in his 40 years that you have to pick and choose your spots, and you can't go full bore at these guys right off the bat. I think all bets are off now.
Well, it's a long season, okay? And this is still November. We haven't cut the turkey yet. This is a West Virginia team picked to finish 5th. He understands what it takes to win at the highest level. He's done a great job over his career of his teams getting better as they go on. So he knows exactly what temperament to deliver.
And now out of that timeout, Bob Huggins subbed in 4 of the 5 Mountaineers. Only Taz Sherman from the start of the second half remains on the floor for West Virginia. And another timeout is called with 14:36 to go. We'll step aside as well and back with more fireworks from Charleston. Back inside TD Arena, the third place game between the West Virginia Mountaineers and the Clemson Tigers. Bob Huggins is a Morgantown native. He's also a West Virginia alum, but nobody scouts the Eastern Ohio, West Virginia Rust Belt better than Bob Huggins. Something tells me that Naz Bohannon at some point in time had to be on Bob Huggins' radar. He ended up going to Youngstown State and then transferring this year to Clemson for his final year college eligibility. But we've seen that toughness from Naz Bohannon on the Clemson side that someone like Bob Huggins really respects.
Yeah, well, I think Brad Brownell respects it also. I think it's a tremendous piece to have, that utility type of player who can guard 1 through 5, who doesn't want to have a play run for them, to have an impact on winning. Not all guys can, understand that they can add value without putting points on the board.
And there's Bohannon right on cue with the rebound.
He's got some versatility to his game.
Tyson, nice baseline cut, blocked from behind, and the foul's going to be called on Damon Kerrigan. It's interesting, at the beginning of this tournament, we spend the whole day prior to the tournament starting talking to every one of these coaches who are here from the 8 teams represented at Charleston. And Brad Brownell probably spent the most time talking about Naz Bohannon, knowing that he's not going to get a lot of minutes right now, but he thinks by the end of the season and by conference play in the ACC, he could really provide a spark.
Well, I think the way Brad Brownell crafts his defense and the schemes that they play with, Bohannon is a perfect piece. because he can play anywhere. He's got the IQ and the intellect to understand the offense, but he also has to understand the rotations and the switches and the calls on the defensive end. He's a tough competitor.
Part of that ever-growing transfer portal that has become such a prominent topic in college basketball.
You say transfer portal, I say free agency, it's the same thing. Players just move around whenever they want, and that's why you see more teams pressing, playing deeper into their benches early in the season, because if you don't play guys, they're going to leave.
Right. Well,
so you might as well figure out a way to get them on the floor.
Yeah, Bob Huggins obviously had to play that transfer portal game as much as he hates to. This year he had to bring in 7 new faces for his team. He's got a couple of freshmen, but he also has 5 what they call super seniors. Dudes who got an extra year of eligibility because of COVID and get basically a free year to go anywhere they want. Damon Kerrigan was at FIU. He came over to Morgantown to play his final year at West Virginia. Malik Curry, a senior at ODU, comes over to Morgantown to play, and the list goes on and on. Here's the aforementioned Curry. Can't hit from close range. And the aforementioned Kerrigan gets the rebound and gets a reset for West Virginia.
Well, when you gamble like Dawes does and trying to get a pick right there in the middle of the floor, you take a high-risk play. And that, of course, forces the defense to have to rotate inside. Then you get out of position for offensive and defensive rebounding.
West Virginia 0 for their last 6. What do they need to do to get a bucket here?
I think they need to get it back inside or go back inside to Sherman, who could invert to the block. Now they're clearing it out for him right here.
Sherman along the baseline, and the hand check foul. That's going to go on David Collins, number 13 in orange.
It's a heavy load for Taz Sherman to carry, but he's certainly capable with his skill set.
Well, he's averaging 20.8 coming in. I know we're only 4 games into the season, but the last 20-point scorer in a year that West Virginia had, you got to go back 18 years. 2003 when Drew Schifino did it for Bob Huggins in West Virginia. Actually, Bob Huggins was not the head coach then. It was John Beilein in West Virginia.
Oh, you got a chance to trap in the corner. There he goes, inverting down into the block against Dawes. P.J. Hall comes over for help. That's a good defensive possession for Clemson.
Now Kerrigan, a shot blocker, forced to guard Bohannon out on the wing. Here's Hunter to Nick Honor. Five to shoot for the Tigers. A lot of dribbling, and it's blocked by Sherman. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. And if anything can get this Mountaineers team going, it's a defensive stop like that. You
make a critical mistake like that. I know you say it's a 10-point lead. It's not a big deal. It is for a momentum shift for a team that's built on defense. Dawes has got the ball in his hands. He's one of the 2 point guards on the floor. He's got to know time and score. He's got to make a better decision.
Let's see if we could see a little sense of urgency on the offensive end for Bob Huggins' troops. It's been something that's plagued them all season so far, is their slow second halves.
Well, that's a great extra effort by Hunter Tyson.
Here's Dawes leading all scorers, but he gave it away again.
Okay, too much dribbling in back-to-back possessions.
The step through, the left hand, no, but Kerrigan has the follow.
Hey, look, West Virginia is going to have a run. They haven't had it yet in the second half. Here comes Curry with a trap.
And they knock it away. 3 straight empty possessions for Clemson. Sherman thought about the 3, goes baseline, up and under, no good. He went from a tough shot to an even tougher 2.
See, that's just a great read by Curry to be able to get that. That's not a called trap, but when the person puts the ball on the floor towards the sideline and they turn their back, that's a great chance for you to go run and trap.
And Bohannon threw it off the outstretched hands of Hunter Tyson. 11:29 to go. Clemson still up 8.
Look at the D right here. Curry comes over, closes that trap, forces the turnover. West Virginia is on the run.
And we echo our friend Alex's sentiments, and the good news is Dickie V is back. He tweeted earlier that he finished packing for Vegas. He loves Vegas, by the way.
Who doesn't?
He's going to take in Gonzaga and UCLA on the call. He'll take in a show or two, I'm sure, while he's there. But there's nothing better than hearing that Dick Vitale is back where he belongs, and that is calling college basketball.
We love you, Dickie V. We're glad you're going to be back at it. We can't wait to hear you on Tuesday night.
With 5 to shoot, Bridges, nothing but air, out of bounds. And it's going to be Clemson basketball out of a timeout.
So Clemson has made 3 consecutive mistakes on the offensive end. Now, in a game like this, it's tough to make back-to-back mistakes. West Virginia has not capitalized on it yet. Let's see if Clemson can get some momentum back by taking care of the ball here.
And now some full court pressure from Bob Huggins.
Well, I like that by Coach Huggins to change the rhythm of the game, to try to stimulate your offense. It's one way to affect the game is to change your rhythm on the defensive end.
They've scored 6 points in the first 10 minutes of this second half. Here's PJ Hall, is going to have to press it. And another shot clock violation.
So that would be 4 empty possessions.
Right, shot clock violation, turnover, shot clock violation. But nothing to show for it on the offensive end for the Mountaineers.
That's right, West Virginia hasn't capitalized on it. See, right here, you got to lock in on defense if you're Clemson. You can't give them a chance to get the momentum back and get this crowd back involved.
West Virginia got down early in the first half and was able to come back and take the lead. Let's see if they're able to do that in the second half. McNeil.
Going right. 1 dribble pull-up. It's a bucket.
First bucket of the game for number 22 in white, Sean McNeil. Here's Chase Hunter. And that's going to be a foul on McNeil in transition.
Well, watch McNeil right here. He comes off the dribble handoff. He gets into the rhythm of his jumper with that 1 dribble pull-up going right. We've seen it all week. And then on the other end, he gets beat because he gambles. He gets out of position and allows Chase Hunter to get a straight line drive to the bucket.
And that's McNeil's 3rd foul of this contest.
At the D1 level, if you get your hips and shoulders past a guy, you're not going to be able to stop him. It's hard to sprint in front and turn them around, especially in the quarter court.
One thing Sean McNeil has is the trust of his coaching staff. He stays on with 3 fouls. Tyson to the bench for Brad Brownell, and Naz Bohannon comes back on. As Chase Hunter looks to convert 1 of 2 free throws.
I'm thinking Coach Huggins is looking for a little heat check right here out of McNeil. And he's got Dawes on him. Let's see if he comes off a couple of screens. I'd look for a pin down or a stagger on the weak side. They're going 1-4 low.
Looking for Polycap in the high post. He catches it outside the circle.
I can tell by McNeil's body language that they're not running the set that would bring the ball to his side of the floor.
Here's Curry. Got inside the painted area. Polycap the offensive rebound, and it rolls out. Hall the rebound for Clemson. Can't buy a bucket. Here's Honor. Off the right, offensive rebound. Back in the hands of Bohannon. And he gets blocked by Polycap.
What a play. Woo! How he got back in the play, Polycap. And look at him sprint the floor.
The defense has really ratcheted it up in the second half for West Virginia. Now the question is, can they do it on offense? Here's McNeil. Tough pass in traffic. Saved by Bohannon.
So I don't know why McNeil didn't just put it down on the floor and look to score it. He had that one dribble pull-up going right. That's his play.
And Bob Huggins is wearing his emotions on his sleeve now. Frustrations boiling over on the offensive end. And an easy two this time. Bohannon, the high-low to P.J. Hall.
A really good seal. A good job of keeping his defender up the line, and P.J. Hall's asking to come out.
And that's two over P.J. Hall, and P.J. Hall is definitely not at 100%. We saw him grimacing earlier in the game, and now he's really struggling.
You know, the flu bug has gone through the team. Alex Hemingway is not with the team tonight because of the flu, or sick. He's sick.
Seven to shoot for Clemson. Dawes, and it gets stuck.
He didn't learn a thing from the last time the shot clock was running down. That's exactly what Brad Brownell is saying to him. It's not easy. This is tough.
P.J. Hall is struggling. We'll have that when we come back. Welcome back to the Shriner Children's Charleston Classic. Let's take a look at our Dollar General game track. And so far, Clemson continuing their hot shooting in this tournament. They're at a 59% clip so far today against West Virginia.
That's an impressive number against a longer defensive team on the perimeter. You see P.J. Hall, he asked to come out of the game. He gives the universal signal of get me out, tug on your jersey, or give the fist. And
he's a gamer, though.
He's still trying to catch his breath over there.
Listen, 3 games in 4 days, beginning of the season, that'll do it.
Look at Bohannon on Osaboyan.
Naz Bohannon picking up the minutes that P.J. Hall would normally have for Brad Brownell. 8 to shoot for the Mountaineers. Now he takes it to the hole, and he scores. Just the second bucket of the night for Sean McNeil.
And he recognizes the switch. Going right, he's tough to defend.
There's the trap in midcourt. And they finish this time, and Bohannon is the beneficiary.
What a break for Clemson. That's the second time Bohannon has dribbled over midcourt and they've looked to trap. So it's the unpredictability of that high risk, high reward for Bob Huggins, right? You don't know exactly when the trap is coming. But you know right now you can anticipate that you got to move the ball before you cross midcourt.
That's the second foul on Bohannon. Seven-point cushion for Clemson, but it's never comfortable when you're facing a West Virginia team. Here's McNeil.
That's it. Bucket.
First three of the night for the best three-point shooter from West Virginia, Sean McNeil.
You gotta make them go left. And here comes that West Virginia run, and here comes that crowd. You gotta really move the ball here. They're overplaying, they're aggressive.
10 to shoot for Clemson. A lot of dribbling from the Tigers. Bohannon, left hand off the window.
Wow. What a play. That's what you do when the shot clock's running down. Try to get to the rim.
See if West Virginia has an answer. Trying not to give Sean McNeil any airspace whatsoever. Tough shot, and Sean McNeil is in the zone.
Uh-oh. You asked me at the beginning who. I told you I thought it was Sean McNeil.
McNeil has scored the last 7 points for the Mountaineers. They're within 4, counting down to 5 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, Osaboyan, he shoved Bohannon into Taz Sherman.
That's number 3 on Bohannon.
Watch McNeil. This degree of difficulty is tough. Going left, high off the glass, fade away. There you go, 2-3. Showed up in the second half.
Now Hunter Tyson checks back in for Brad Brownell. Still no P.J. Hall. The leading scorer and rebounder for the Clemson Tigers had to take himself out of the game due to fatigue a few minutes ago. Here's Gabe Osabuoye. Nice feed for Bridges. And all of a sudden, the West Virginia offense looks healthy again. Brad Brownell wants to talk things over, try to settle down the troops. West Virginia has whittled the lead away to just 2. They've made their last 5 field goals, Deb.
Watch this right here. Watch the risk. Collins gives up his position to try to get the steal. And Osabuoye just drops it off for Bridges.
4 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds for Gabe. Feast Week rolling on tonight. We have a championship game here in Charleston as 22nd ranked St. Bonaventure takes on Marquette in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic Final. That tips off at 7:30 on ESPN. Following that game, the Roman main event title game from Las Vegas with Arizona facing number 4 Michigan. Who says Sundays are for football, Deb?
Not me. I'm all hoops all the time, man.
Well, we were waiting for a West Virginia run, and we got a West Virginia run. And Deb, wouldn't you know it, after the timeout with 4:45 to go, the leading scorer and rebounder from Clemson is back on the floor.
Sean McNeil, welcome to the second half. Number 2-2. Hustle right here, gets into the rhythm of his jump shot. He's good going off the bounce. That was the first half. He struggled in the second half. He does a great job of getting to his spots.
Got to keep an eye on number 24 in orange, P.J. Hall. He could be a difference maker in the final 4.5 minutes. Here's Honor. Around and out for 3, the rebound to Osabuoye.
Clemson went cold at the end of the St. Bonnie game. This is right around the same time, a similar situation, a 1-possession game.
A 3 gives Bob Huggins Mountaineers the lead. Here it is. Too strong. That looks like it was off Clemson. It's going to stay West Virginia basketball.
Yeah, Taz Sherman again, 5 threes on the season. But with the personnel on the floor, I might have run Bridges off that stagger.
West Virginia's last lead was 39-38. They find themselves down 2 with 4 minutes to go. Here's Kedrian Johnson. 5 to shoot. Osabuoye runs over P.J. Hall, and they're going to get the foul on Hall. Crunch time is here in Charleston, 3:52 to go. We've got a 2-point ball game in the Charleston Classic. The question is, Debbie Antonelli, who's going to be money in the final 3 minutes and 52 seconds tonight between Clemson and West Virginia? We've got ourselves a ball game.
You got to really lock in on the details of execution on both ends. You know West Virginia has been able to come back in this with their defense and Sean McNeil making shots. Now can you take away Sean McNeil? Make somebody else make a big play here late.
Taz Sherman only 2 points in the second half. But West Virginia is back in it. And now West Virginia has tied the ball game. Sean McNeil, the hottest shooter on the floor.
This is where you got a ball fake. You got to look back door. They're overplaying. They're up the line. They're aggressive. There's a slip by Hall.
Dawes takes it himself and can't connect, but an offensive rebound by Collins. No whistle. McNeil's got it. and it's going to be West Virginia basketball. McNeil wanted the foul, didn't get it, but it still will be Mountaineers ball.
The beginning of the second half, we talked about Clemson's ball movement, right? We were talking about how pretty it was. They had it spaced out. They were reversing it. They got a couple of sides. Now they're playing off the bounce, which is exactly the way West Virginia wants them to play. They have dictated what Clemson's shot-making ability has been here in the second half.
Kedrian Johnson drives right into P.J. Hall, and now P.J. Hall whistled for the foul and is not happy about it. And there's a Clemson player down under the basket. That's Nick Honor, who's slow to get up.
So P.J. Hall is claiming that Osaboyan pushed him into the driver. And if you're watching that from our perspective, that's exactly what P.J. Hall is saying. Osaboyan was trying to post him up and push him up the lane, and he pushed him right into the penetration.
Both teams in the bonus. Kedrian Johnson will be shooting a 1-and-1.
See, that's displacement by Osaboyan inside. He displaced P.J. Hall into that.
And of concern for the Clemson Tigers, now not only did they give up the lead, but one of their starters, Nick Honor, hobbled over to the Clemson bench. Looks like he might have a pretty nasty Charlie horse that he's dealing with. 2 clutch free throws for Kedrian Johnson gives West Virginia a 2-point lead. Under 3 minutes to go in Charleston. Here's Honor with the ball.
Spread. Try to get in the gap and kick.
Collins lost it. 5 to shoot for Clemson. Tyson thought about it, and another shot clock violation. The third one of the second half for West Virginia.
That is tremendous defense. Okay, these plays for Clemson are late developing. I don't know where Collins is going. There's nowhere to go there. Now you get out of rhythm. Now you got to make a play.
It's an 8-0 West Virginia run, and Brad Brownell is probably thinking, I've seen this movie before.
Yes, he has.
2 nights ago, they were up 16 on St. Bonaventure, only to lose that game. Bridges, 3. McNeil the rebound. McNeil puts it up. Can't get it off the window. Sherman the offensive board goes.
You know the trap's coming. Yeah, you got to move the ball.
Dawes out of bounds. Another Clemson turnover. That's 20 Tigers turnovers.
That defense has sped up Clemson. They've got them scrambling. They can't execute. This is exactly the way Bob Huggins loves to play on this end of the floor.
Well, early in the second half, Bob Huggins was apoplectic. He lost his marbles with his team in a timeout huddle, and you'll see him slam his clipboard down, get off his stool, and all of a sudden, that ignited this West Virginia defense.
That's exactly how it was scripted by Huggins. Up the line, look to trap, be aggressive, be assertive, take a high-risk play. See if you can turn them over. 3 late shot clock possessions where Clemson is stuck on the perimeter with the ball. I think Clemson's got to get into their actions a little bit quicker.
This week's NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts in Boston at 7:30 Eastern with KD, James Harden, and the Nets taking on Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Then, Steph and the Warriors, the best team in the NBA, host the Sixers with our coverage starting with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Now you got to have your pressure package in right now, Rich, okay? That means you got to be able to make high post entries, dribble entries. You got to get the ball below the free throw line because they're overplaying and they are playing a risky defense. So welcome that if you're Clemson. You've got plenty of scorers that can go off the bounce and get to the rim.
P.J. Hall back in there. Tried to draw an automatic foul, but didn't get one. Both teams in the bonus, they were trying to send Gabe Osaboyan to the line.
You gotta watch number 22 in white here.
There he is. Too strong. Hall, the rebound. Clemson with the ball, down 4.
You got an advantage.
Oh, and David Collins goes down hard. Kedrian Johnson whistled for that foul. So that's the 3rd on Kedrian Johnson, and that sends David Collins to the line, shooting a 1-and-1. Clemson on the season, only 65% from the free throw line. David Collins, a 50% free throw shooter. And he misses it. And Osaboyan tracks it down.
You just got to get a stop right here if you're Clemson, and you got to make sure you rebound.
Collins almost got the steal, and instead he's called for the foul, and that's going to send Kedrian Johnson to the free throw line.
Number 13, David Collins, his 4th. Team 7 in the bonus.
That's the 4th on Collins with a $1:05 to go. It's worth noting, if Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers can hold off this Clemson team and win this game, it will be career victory number 904 for the future Hall of Famer. And he will sit all alone in 4th place all time in head coaching victories.
I like this substitution right here if you're Brad Brownell, because you're anticipating that Johnson's going to make 2 free throws. That means it's still a 2-possession game. But if you can get Hunter Tyson free for a 3, Nick Honor or Dawes open for a 3.
Off the back iron, Bohannon the rebound. Clemson with plenty of time. Here's Collins. And Bohannon got it. Almost had a 3-point opportunity.
You play in the middle third like that, you got 3 shooters around. Collins and Bohannon doing a nice job of attacking inside.
We mentioned this illustrious list. Mike Krzyzewski, you're not going to catch him. Jim Boeheim right after him. Jim Calhoun retired earlier this week, 920 career wins. But Bob Huggins with a win today will pass Roy Williams, the Hall of Famer, on that all-time list. Bohannon calmly nails the free throw. First point in the last 5 minutes for the Tigers.
Clemson's been a resilient group right here. I mean, it's not been easy going down the stretch. West Virginia has definitely imposed their defensive presence. They've changed the complexion of the game.
1 for 2. Bridges a big rebound. Still a 1-possession ball game. And West Virginia's going to try to make Clemson chase them down.
Just got to play good D right here. You got a rebound.
Collins went for the steal. The ball's in the hands of number 10 in white, Malik Curry. 5 on the shot clock. Curry takes it himself off the window. The lead is 5 for West Virginia. 20 seconds remain. Nick Honor for 3, in and out. Offensive rebound of Bohannon, and a foul called on West Virginia.
Boy, that is a deep 3.
That's going to be the 4th foul on Jalen Bridges.
What a rebound by Bohannon. Clock stops, chance to put a couple of free throws on the board. This is a next best situation for Brad Brownell.
6'6" senior transfer from Youngstown State. Naz Bohannon.
Now, if you're Clemson, you're going to let Osaboyan catch it so you can foul him.
And now Tyson out, P.J. Hall back in for Brad Brownell. It's been a slog of a night for the leading scorer and rebounder from Clemson, P.J. Hall.
Bob Huggins probably has Osaboyan taking the ball out of bounds.
Bohannon hits them both. Clutch free throws, brings it back to a 3-point game. 1-possession ball game, 17 ticks on the clock. And Sherman calls timeout.
Really good D by Clemson to force that timeout.
So each team has 1 timeout remaining. Both teams in the bonus. Clemson in the double bonus at possession arrow favors West Virginia. Take us inside these huddles.
Well, for West Virginia, that gives them a chance to get Osaboyan off the floor, right? For an off, you want to put your best hands team on the court right here to handle, and best free throw shooting team, because you know you're going to get fouled. Clemson has to foul when the ball comes in. Now, if you're Clemson, you're saying to the officials, look, we're trying to get a steal or a quick trap. We're not trying to foul right away. There's time. Okay, it's a 1-possession game. But then you're going to have to foul. What Brad Brownell is doing is he is drawing up a play for a 3 coming down the other end.
Time now to take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by Shriners Children's, and it is the Mountaineer man. Gabe Osaboyan, who we highlighted earlier in the contest, does all the little things, doesn't need to score to impact the game, and he did that tonight.
You got to understand the value that he brings to know why he's our player of the game. It's tips, deflections, it's body language, it's motion, it's activity, it's all the things that he brings to the court for Bob Huggins.
Led the Mountaineers in rebounds and assists tonight, and also drew a couple of charges as well. So now the full court pressure is on for Clemson. They get it into Sherman, who's fouled, but before they call the foul, the ball goes out of bounds. Now they're going to try and get a technical foul. They do. There were 6 players on the floor for Clemson. I can't remember the last time I've seen this.
Boy, that is a critical mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great job by the officials. So here's how that happens. You have a timeout. Somebody was told to go in. Somebody was told to go out. There was a miscommunication. Whoever was coming in, there was a lot of confusion around the huddle.
Now there were 17 seconds left. Do they put that time back on the clock because the officials didn't call it right away? They're not going to.
No, you don't put any time on the clock. So you're right, Rich, you're right. The time does come back because the officials recognized it before the ball came in bounds. So it's going to be 2 free throws for West Virginia and the ball.
And you put Sean McNeil on the line, one of the steadiest free throw shooters. He's only gone to the line 4 times so far this season. 3 for 4 from the stripe so far. Nails the first. Now it's a 2-possession ball game. And he's got the second. And now it will be West Virginia basketball.
Yeah. And Sean McNeil was my second choice for player of the game because of the way he played the second half.
Well, he scored 13 points, all of them coming in that second stanza. West Virginia needed someone on offense. Sean McNeil answered the call. They get it away. And now time is going to run out for the Clemson Tigers. And West Virginia calls a timeout with 7.4 left. And once that 7.4 runs out, if West Virginia hangs on for this win, Bob Huggins will pass Roy Williams with his 904th career victory. A reminder to stay tuned. All you have to do is flip over one channel to ESPN. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to have the championship game from the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. 22nd ranked St. Bonaventure taking on Marquette in what promises to be a raucous atmosphere. This felt like a championship game, even though it was for third place.
We have had quite a week here in Charleston. It has been amazing, the turnout by the fan bases, and passionate about their teams. It's great to have college basketball back. It's great to be back here on the side, and good to be with you all week too, Rich.
It's good to have fans in the building too. This feels like March in November. There is that look. Bob Huggins, shoulder to shoulder with Roy Williams. And if the call comes this year, which it should, if it doesn't, it'll come next year. And if not then the year after that. Bob Huggins is a Hall of Famer in just about everybody's eyes, and the numbers bear that out.
He is so respected and so revered by the coaching fraternity.
And by the Mountaineer faithful. He's one of their own. Grew up in Morgantown, transferred to Morgantown to play most of his college career. Graduated there in 1977 and came back home 15 years ago to coach his Mountaineers. And now they get a foul called with 4.6 left. That'll send Sean McNeil back to the free throw line. Well, you mentioned Sean McNeil at the very outset of this program to be the difference maker on offense for the West Virginia Mountaineers, Deb, and you were right.
Well, he didn't have any points in the first half. And when he gets to his spots and got into the rhythm of his jumper, he had 13 second half points, and he's getting ready to add to that. What a gamer in the second half. He lets the game come to him. This is a tough loss for Clemson.
Sean McNeil came over from community college 2 years ago. He was strictly a spot-up shooter, but he has turned himself into someone who could shoot it off the dribble, he could shoot it off the pass, and he could take it to the hoop. And he did all of that tonight. West Virginia was down, but they were not out. They come back from trailing Clemson to earn a third-place finish in the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. And in doing so, they give Bob Huggins his career 904th all-time victory. 66-59, the final score. West Virginia over Clemson. And there's your updated tote board. Roy Williams, step aside, if only momentarily, because Bob Huggins now with 904 career wins. Bob Huggins is going to join us at the table momentarily. And he does, I can report this, he does have a smile on his face.
Of course,
and that's good news. A little wink to the Mountaineer faithful, and the future Hall of Famer joins us now. Bob, congratulations on the win. You said coming into this game that your team was having trouble in the second half, that sense of urgency. I think we saw some of that tonight. What was the difference?
Well, that was my team. I don't know who those other guys were the other night. That's all we talked about, was being what we've been. I mean, what we've been is the hardest playing, most physical team around. We have never shot it great. You know, we got a couple guys can shoot it pretty good now, but we've never shot it great. But we played so doggone hard, and that's a good basketball team. Clemson's a really good basketball team, so that's a great win for us.
Coach, we caught you in the huddle throwing down your clipboard. You're trying to get some emotion out of your guys. Did they respond the way you wanted them to respond?
Well, that's not true. I was trying to get the emotion out of me.
904 wins. When I say that to you, Bob, what does that mean to you?
I'm old.
Besides that?
It means I'm old. I don't pay any attention to that stuff. You know, I grew up in a house with my father, who's in every Hall of Fame there is in Ohio. And he never paid any attention to any of that stuff, and so I guess I grew up not paying much attention.
Coach, you mentioned your dad. You always reference your family. I think there's a spot in you that people don't understand, that the toughness on the outside, there's a lot of love on the inside for your guys.
Well, when you grow up with 4 sisters and 2 brothers, I mean, in a trailer, I mean, yeah, you're close enough to each other long enough, you do have to love each other.
904 wins, but that's not going to be the last win for Bob Huggins' future Hall of Fame career. Congratulations,
well, I hope
Coach.
not. If it is, that means I broke my leg or something. So,
Bob
appreciate y'all.
Huggins gets the win over Clemson in comeback fashion. His Mountaineers improve to 4-1 on the season. Coming up on ESPN in a short amount of time, it'll be 22nd ranked St. Bonaventure taking on the Marquette Golden Eagles with some hardware on the line. The Children's Classic coming up from the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic here in Charleston. Stay tuned for that. For now, Debbie Antonelli, Rich Hollenberg saying so long from Charleston. We'll send you to ESPN and Michael Eaves.